In the book, A Tale of Two Cities by the great author Charles Dickens, we find that it starts out with these words. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. It sort of sounds like the opportunities for leadership today. We're going to discuss that in this video. Stay tuned. This is Leadership Radio. Hi, I'm Kerry Southorn, and welcome back to our program. This is Leadership Radio, and get ready for another excursion into, you guessed it, leadership excellence today. If you enjoy it, thumbs up. And if you don't, forget about it. We're going to give you 5 points why these are the best of times, as Dickens said, and at the same moment, the worst of times for leadership. But we're going to start out by giving you the worst point, and then we'll follow up with the positive, because you always want to end with the positive. Don't you agree? So the first point, why these are the worst of times for leadership, is that there's never been more talk and less action about leadership than there is right now. Have you noticed how much talk there is about leadership today? Especially on this program, but in general. There's a lot of talk out there. 20 or 30 years ago, you would read books or hear speeches about management, but not so much leadership. It seems that the more we talk about something, the less we see of it. Like we talk about fitness and health, but the more we sit in front of our computers or television sets. Well, why is it the best time for leadership? Well, it's the best time because a leader that will actually walk the talk and follow up on what they say they will do is in short supply, but that leader will stand out from the crowd. People don't want to hear statements of philosophy so much as they want to see statements of behavior. And they will follow a leader like that, and they will respect an individual like that. Second reason why these are the worst of times is that the public's opinion and view of our companies and institutions have never been lower than they are right now. Now, this is likely because of the poor examples of leadership we've seen. People who take advantage of their power and their perks and at the expense of their organizations or of their team members. And it's the best of times because a principled, centered leader coming into an organization like that can really make a difference, not only in the public's view of that organization, but in the overall perspective that people have of leadership to help restore confidence in the whole idea and spirit of leadership. Third reason why it's the worst of times is because there's a lot of mushy talk out there, mushy theory about leadership that seems to appeal to an entitlement or snowflake generation. And a prospective leader looks at that and says, why would I want to get into leadership and be that kind of leader? Well, the good news is you don't have to be that kind of leader. You can be the kind of leader that appeals to the deep desires that are in each one of us, including the snowflakes, that desire to work towards something bigger than we are, to strive towards worthy goals and ideas. And the leader that can tap into that kind of reservoir can really lead their organization into great accomplishments and really help people get beyond themselves. Fourth reason why this is the worst time for leadership is that Loyalty is in short supply today. Have you noticed that in your workplace? Have you noticed that in your neighborhoods and institutions that you belong to? You know, 30 or 40 years ago, I heard a fellow give a speech, and he said, "My company is the best company." Why is that? Because it's my company. And the president of my company is the best president. And why is that? Because he's my president. Well, you know, that kind of loyalty that we used to see is very rare today. The best of times, good news is that loyalty that is earned runs deep. But if you earn loyalties, you can accomplish great things in an organization because you've got a strong foundation of lasting loyalties. Why? Because they were earned. Fifth reason why these are the worst of times is because there's so little good thinking out there today. The culture wants to force us into thinking their way. Some people call it political correctness. And it's coming from our culture from many directions. But the strong, principle-centered leader stands for what they believe in and will do the thinking for themselves. So, those are the 5 points why these are the best of times and the worst of times for leadership. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've certainly enjoyed being with you, and remember, time has never been better to make a difference.